Welcome back, everyone, to TV5 News at 9. When buying a home, you want to watch out for seller fraud. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. So this morning we have Sandy Meyer from Superior Title and Settlement Agency and Cindy Immonen from Fidelity National. We want to thank you both for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. We want to start off with what are the main risks that people should look out for when it comes to real estate fraud?
So what's happening out in the market is that we have fraudsters out there. They are searching the county records and the tax records to see if the property is vacant or non-owner occupied, and if there's any kind of liens against them. And then they pose to be the seller, the property owner. They call a real estate agent. And a lot of times they will only email the real estate agent. They're very eager to sell the property, and the real estate agent is very eager to sell the property.
Okay. Is there a scheme behind that, or how does it really benefit them to do that?
Yeah, so they are flat out imposing as the property owner. So by emailing with the real estate agent, they will digitally sign a listing agreement. The real estate agent will put a for sale sign on the property, and they will usually list it just slightly below market rate so that they find a buyer, and they will advertise looking for a buyer of cash. And so in today's market, with the shortage of real estate, there's a lot of buyers out there. And so they find a buyer with cash, and they have fake IDs as the real property owner.
Wow.
And then after the sale is complete, the title company closes it, wires the money to this fake seller, and now this fraudster just took the money and ran. And
the house is probably not even available then, right?
Right, or the vacant land. Yeah, it goes through as a complete normal sale on the public records, but it's a fraudster. We've even had some fraudsters show up at the title company, act as the seller, the property owner, and they've changed the locks on the house and handed the buyer a set of keys. And that buyer then starts fixing up the house. It's been about a month, and then the real property owner comes by and says, "What are you doing to my house?"
Yeah. What a pickle.
Yes, it is a pickle. It's a problem.
Yeah, concerning. All right, so we want to know maybe more of the red flags that real estate companies or title companies see. How do you guys really catch this?
Yeah, so when the real estate agent contacts the title agency, such as Superior, and the order is vacant land or possibly non-owner occupied, being a rental, being a vacation piece of property that somebody's not there all the time. The one thing that Superior Title will ask for is identification verification. So they want to know, how can I reach quote-unquote property owner? They send a link or a text message for that person to upload the front and back of their driver's license and do a facial recognition. And so then a lot of the fraudsters will totally bail then. Or they attempt to, and then Superior Title is told who is trying to sell the property, so it can stop.
Man, this is very complex, I feel.
It is. It can get very complex.
Well, I feel like buying a house anyways, there's like so many elements to it. I'm just like really impressed that these people can fake it till they make it, basically.
Oh, and that's what they're doing. They have really studied the United States real estate market. So it's not just happening in Michigan. It's happening a lot in Michigan. As an underwriter, we hear about it at least once a week throughout the state. It is that prevalent.
Wow.
If not some weeks twice, maybe 3 times. And we're just one of the underwriters in the state. There's 11 underwriters in the state. So it can be really bad. And people don't even know their property was sold. The buyer then goes to the municipality, puts in a property transfer affidavit, and then the tax bill now will go to the buyer, and then the property owner, you know, come around this time of year in December, they're like, where's my tax bill?
Right.
And then they find out that their property was sold out from under them.
And that's got to be so, like, heartbreaking.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And this is not small prices either. Throughout Michigan, we've had as high as $360,000 on a large piece of vacant land. It's up in the UP as well as, you know, down in the metropolitan areas, Detroit and Grand Rapids. Yeah. And Saginaw.
Yeah, Saginaw,
Midland,
I was gonna
it's all over the place.
All right, so any types of ways that this fraud can be prevented? I know maybe you mentioned the facial identification. Is there anything else?
We do several different things. When we get the order in, if it is a vacant land and the seller is not coming to closing, so we're not going to meet them in person, we do start asking a lot of questions. We'll ask the agent questions. Have you met the seller? You know, what's the relationship? How did you get that contact? And then we have, we'll Google the seller, see if we can't locate a phone number. We never use any of the information that's provided because if it's a fraudster information, we're just contacting them. So we'll jump online and start trying to find the seller, get a phone number. One of the biggest things we like to do is mail the seller a letter from the address that they received their tax bill from, and telling them, you know, congratulations on your pending deal, or, you know, we've received your order. If you have any questions, let us know. And if they're not selling, we'll hear right back from them. There's no delay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I bet.
They're like, wait, I'm not selling.
So, and we control the notary. Notary fraud is huge also. So we make sure that if a seller's not coming to closing, that we find the notary. We make sure they're a vetted notary, use a company to go to them. Back in the day, we would send packages like to a seller, and they would print them and find their neighbor was a notary or something and send them back. Those days are gone.
Good.
We have to know who is notarizing those documents.
Very good.
Yep.
This has been very informational and helpful.
Yeah.
Are there any like specific situations that you guys can think of that this tried to happen and you guys stopped it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We,
Several times.
You know, I go around and I talk to a lot of the agents, and their stories are always very unique. But we had one agent where the fraudster actually hacked his email, went in and was sending his buyer emails, and it looked like it was from the agent.
Yeah.
And setting rules. So I always remind people, go into your email, check your rules, make sure nobody's been in there changing them, because the fraudster had went in, changed the rules, so all the emails coming from that buyer went into a special folder, and the fraudster was able to change the wire instructions at the last minute, sent it to the buyer, and because it was last minute, the buyer just hurried up, went out to the bank and wired the funds. So, but all good things. I mean, that one came, you know, was caught. So, another time, another agent had a fraudster call, wanted to list the property, offered up a copy of their driver's license. The true owner was found and said, no, we're not selling, but a copy of that driver's license was provided. And it was amazing. He said, it's my driver's license, but just a different photo.
Oh my gosh.
They are changing the photos, so you gotta watch the driver's licenses. If you look at some of them, like they'll use a headshot. We know DMV just do a headshot. So you check those driver's licenses.
Some of them can be so obvious.
I know.
I know. Some of them can be.
Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot of policies that we have in place to try to stay on top of this. It's been said to me once, we have to be right 100% of the time. They only have to be right once.
Isn't that crazy?
And that money's gone. And now you have, you know, and obviously the deal's void. You know, you don't have a valid deed, and so a buyer's upset too. You know, they're out the money and don't have the property. Yeah, exactly.
Proper property, very good.
It ends up being a title claim, which then comes to the underwriter. As Sandy said, we try to unravel it, put an affidavit of record, but it's not fun.
I bet.
So the best way we can prevent it, you know, is being very, very cautious, and hopefully all of us legit buyer and sellers will have, you know, grace in the transaction of doing identity verification to make sure that it really is them.
it benefits.
It
It'll
does.
benefit them, benefit
It
you.
does.
Yeah, that's why we really want to increase the awareness, so everybody's aware that this is a huge problem, is happening constantly. You know, wire fraud, notary fraud, all of it is out there, and we all have to do our due diligence. You know, the Neighborhood Watch. Okay.
Yes.
So Neighborhood Watch for sale signs. If you know your neighbor has a for sale sign, go up, contact them, say, hey, I see you're selling. There's a chance that they're not, but if these fraudsters contact an agent, they're going to put that sign up, and a lot of times people don't say anything, and property gets sold.
Wow. Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention this morning. Is there anything else that you want to add that we should know?
Yes, I believe we have a tip of red flags. The one thing that you can do is also visit your Register of Deeds website and sign up for fraud notifications. It is always free, but sign up for that to be notified when anything gets recorded against your property or your name, so that you're aware of it. And that way it is for free and you're notified, and that can help you as a property owner. But
yeah, it's kind of after the fact, but you'll still know sooner than later.
And you can deal with it then. You know, Superior definitely can refer them to a real estate attorney that can help with a fraud affidavit. You're not going to get evicted. You're not going to get foreclosed on or anything. It's just, you know, it's being notified that something has been recorded, and if it's not valid, then you should be dealing with it. And your property won't be sold out from under you and have to get unwound. So
knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, exactly. So watching the red flags.
All right. Sandy, Cindy, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
This was very great, informative. And you can find all this information that we just talked about by going to our hot links section on WNEM.com.